I was 10 years old. I hit a baseball down a driveway. I went for the baseball, and at the end of that driveway was a garage, which is still there. And two of my buddies were in there lifting weights. They said, try this. They were doing squats, I think 125 pounds, which is about what I weighed, and I did 10 with it. So they said, oh, yeah, you should do this. So I sort of got interested. Then I got a little 98-pound York set and trained at home with a buddy. And then after about a year, we came back to that garage and they let me train with their boys.
So you got your York set and started training, and when did you realize you were going to be good at this and start competing?
Actually, going in the official AAU meets, I was about 12 then. I went in the Navy right out of high school. I was a Navy medic, so I was in for 21 years, 8 of which were with the Marine Corps. The Marines don't have a medical corps, so I was a Marine corpsman. So in the service overseas, which worked out. Then when I got out, I was in pretty decent shape, and I got into the competition. The AAU recognized me and made me the regional chairman for powerlifting, weightlifting, and physique for the South. So I pretty much got hooked into it. I train 5 or 6 days a week. I do one of the competition lifts, say on Monday, and Tuesday I just do abdominals, dumbbell work, and then Wednesday another one of the Olympic lifts. Thursday again the supporting exercises, and then Friday one of the Olympic lifts. Take Saturday off, and then we get together Sunday and do it. I'm 81 in January.
So you've been training almost 70 years, is that?
Just, yeah, more than 70, I guess.
Yeah.
From 10 to 81,
10,
71
okay.
years.
For people who don't know, explain the difference between weightlifting and powerlifting.
Okay, weightlifting, or they call them the Olympic lifts, those are the lifts done in the Olympics. The snatch from the floor to arm's length in one motion, and the clean and jerk. The clean to the chest and jerk it overhead. Up to 1972, there was a third Olympic lift called the press, where you pulled it here and pressed it up with just your arm strength. But it got to the point where there were so many ways to cheat in the press that it was just impossible to referee, so they dropped it. People were using knee kicks, bending back, shoves. At the beginning of the month, I flew to Salt Lake City and won the National Weightlifting Olympic Lift Championships. And by pounds, you have to lift so much weight. I qualified for the Pan American Games that are going to be held in Orlando in 6 weeks. So I have plane tickets, and my son also qualified.
In weightlifting, how are the categories broken down? You were talking about, is it by 5-year age groups or in weight classes?
In weightlifting, it's 5 years, starting at 30, I think. 30 to 35 is submaster, and then 35 to 39, 44, right on up to, for U.S. competition, it goes up indefinitely. There's 80 to 85, 85 to 90. But for international, once you reach 80, that's it, for weightlifting and powerlifting. Powerlifting has maintained the traditional 148, 181, 198, 220, 242, 275, 308. Those classes stay the same.
Those are odd numbers, aren't they?
Yeah, but weightlifting, it's so confusing that I don't know the classes. Like I said, they just changed. Like instead of a 198, they went to 197. Instead of a 220, they dropped to 211. And in the Olympics next year, there's only going to be 6 weight classes because they just figure they don't want to give out medals for 11 or 12 weightlifting classes. CrossFit has made a big difference in weightlifting. The masters meet in weightlifting, there was usually 150. And of that 150, the first 20 were girls, maybe, or less. Well, this year, there were over 800 lifters, and over half of that 800 were girls. So they're coming, and it has to do with, if you should watch CrossFit, these fellows are very strong, and girls, and they're doing snatches, and they're doing jerks. When I go to the competitions, some of the younger guys will come up and say it's encouraging. I said, you know, my grandparents can't get up out of the chair, and it lets us know that there is a future.
People may not be able to obviously compete at high levels, but people can actually start getting in shape and lifting at any age if they do it the right way, right?
You can, yes. The secret is to warm up. In fact, I lay on the floor first and I do my hamstring exercises and back twists, maybe 15 minutes of stretching. Then I get to the stick and start messing with the stick. And then, the bottom of the bar and start a progressive resistance. I think that's the name of the game.
Well, what's next? So you got another competition coming up?
Pan Am Games in 6 weeks. And
How many countries are involved, do you know?
North and South America, Central America, and the Caribbean islands. So I'm in the Pan American Hall of Fame. It comes by points. You get 6 points for a win, 3 for a second, and 1 for third, and you need 42 points. And I have 11 wins, so 11 sixes are 54 and 5 seconds. I have a patch on my jacket. The U.S. Masters Hall of Fame, which requires 10 national championships. And the other one is the Pan American, which is done on points. And of course there are 50 or so people that have won the U.S. Hall of Fame, and there are about 20 that have won the Pan American, but there are only 2 that have the combination. I was qualified for the Olympics. I was in with the national office, invited to the Olympic trials, which were at the World's Fair. And so I got all the paperwork, filled it out, took it to my commanding officer, I was stationed in Beaufort at the Marine Corps Air Station. And they said, "No problem, Doc, we'll get this right in for you." I continued to train. 2 weeks before the competition, a Navy captain appeared from Washington. He said, "Chief, we have good news for you. You don't have to go to the Olympics and represent the Marine Corps. We have fixed it up so that you can represent the Navy. And we're going to get your paperwork back from the Marines, and we're going to send it all in, and it'll be in there by the end of the week." I said, "Well, thank you very much, sir. It was due in New York 6 weeks ago." And for Olympics, if you're not exactly this and that, I don't think I would have won the Olympics, but I'd have gotten a medal.
Well, you obviously like the training. Do you like the competition part a lot too?
Oh, I do, yeah.
Are you just going to keep competing as long as you want to, or as long as you can? Is that sort of the plan?
I believe so. I'm going to maybe cut down on the number of meets. Like here, I've gone to 2 national championships this month. I've got a Pan American Games in 6 weeks, and in 3 months a World Championship in a different sport. So that requires me to, train bench press, squat, and deadlift, continue on the snatch and clean and jerk.
Do you know how many medals total you've won? You have any good guess at all? How many medals you've won over the years?
250 or so, and 100 best lifters.